The following clip was taken by a group of friends who had gathered for what was supposed to be a simple house party. While waiting for the rest of their guests to arrive, a few of them stepped outside to kill time, joking around and playing games. That's when one of them noticed something. Watch closely.
What? Did you see that?
For a split second, something appears in the darkness, big, and has massive horns. Whatever it was close enough to be seen clearly, and close enough to make them rethink everything. The party ended immediately, and everyone went back to their homes, locked the doors, and the night was over before it even began. After the video went viral, the reactions were split. Some claimed they've seen similar footage online, describing the same horn silhouette appearing in backyards, wooded areas, and rural roads, always briefly, always watching. Others argued it had to be a prank, suggesting one of the friends may have been wearing something to scare the group, but no one has come forward to claim responsibility, so until more footage surfaces, or more sightings like this are reported, whatever appeared that night remains unexplained. But what do you think? Was it just a prank caught at the perfect angle, or something that didn't want to be seen for long? I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. This next video is about a woman named Simone, who's been sharing what she describes as a slowly unfolding nightmare inside her home. At first, it didn't seem serious. She noticed a shadow, appearing briefly, then vanishing, always in the same areas of the house. She brushed it off, but over time, things began to change. She started hearing voices calling her name. Some sounded exactly like loved ones who have already passed away. Others sounded like people she knows who are still very much alive, but were nowhere near her. Then came the knocking, then the dreams. Vivid, intense, terrifying dreams where something chases her night after night, never quite catching her, but never letting her rest either. Recently, Simone says whatever this is no longer stays confined to her home. She believes it's been following her, even when she's out in public. Take a look.
I know you guys don't see it, but it's been following me. It has been following me. And it won't leave. And it won't stop until it finally gets to me. I have to find a way to put a stop to all of this.
After seeing this clip, many viewers noticed what sounded like a voice right at the beginning saying, "I need help." That detail immediately raised alarms. People began suggesting Simone may be dealing with a mimic, an entity often described as something that copies voices, appearances, and behaviors of people you trust, slowly breaking down your sense of reality. And when you connect that idea to the voices, the knocking, and the dreams, it starts to feel disturbingly possible. People advised her to stay home, believing it might reduce the activity, but that didn't help. Watch this.
It's back again. It's back again tonight. Who is it? What do you want? I know you guys think it's a prank or something, but it's not. It's not. Something else is here.
Staying inside has become its own nightmare. In the video, a door opens on its own, and Simone describes the constant, crushing feeling that she's never truly alone, that something is always in the house with her, watching, waiting. According to Simone, it doesn't give her a break, nor even when she leaves. One day, she stepped out of her apartment and immediately felt that familiar sensation again, like someone was right behind her. Watch closely.
I was just walking out of my apartment. And look. You see that? You see that shadow? It's following me.
Simone believes there's a shadow figure following her, and when the image is paused and brightened, the outline looks like a man wearing a hat. This detail caused a wave of panic in the comments. A shadow that appears indoors is one thing, but something following her outside in public suggests attachment rather than haunting. Also, the idea of a hat-shaped shadow figure raised even more alarms. Some believe it resembles descriptions of the so-called Hat Man, while others say it could be a manifestation taking on a more defined form as the activity escalates. People pointed out that nearly all of this happens at night and urged her to stop walking alone after dark. But that advice stopped making sense when she posted this next clip.
I was just coming downstairs, and I keep hearing it. Sounds like it's always like one step behind me. Listen. Listen. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
At this point, speculation exploded. Some believe Simone may be dealing with a jinn, known in folklore for attachment, mimicry, and following people rather than places. Others think it could be a shadow entity feeding off fear, growing stronger as her stress and exhaustion increase. A few suggest it may be something trying to communicate, but doing so in the only ways it knows how: fear, repetition, and pressure. Whatever it is, Simone says she's reaching her limit. She doesn't know how much longer she can live like this, constantly watched, followed, and worn down. So what do you think Simone is dealing with? A mimic? An attachment? Or something else entirely? Who knows? You might be the one who finally gets it right. Now, in this next video, a man who recently moved into an old funeral home for work, located right beside a cemetery in the northern Appalachian region, begins noticing something unsettling almost immediately. About a month and a half after staying there, he realizes his closet light keeps turning on and off throughout the night. At first, it didn't seem that alarming. Old buildings have wiring issues and faulty switches happen. But then his boss tells him something that changes everything. Previous workers who stayed in that same building experienced the exact same thing. And here's what really unsettles him. The light isn't controlled by a switch. It's a motion sensor light, meaning something has to move in order to trigger it. So what could possibly be walking in and out of that closet? Watch and listen closely. This is where the location starts to matter. Former funeral homes are places where bodies were prepared, stored, and mourned. Spaces saturated with grief, ritual, and final goodbyes. Many believe those environments can hold onto emotional residue, especially when the building was never properly cleansed or repurposed. Then there's the cemetery next door. Cemeteries are often seen as boundaries, not homes. And when living spaces sit too close, some believe that boundary gets blurred. Add to that the northern Appalachian region, an area long associated with folklore, restless spirits, and entities said to follow people rather than places. Some think it could be something tied to the funeral home itself, a former worker, a grieving spirit, or something that never quite left. Others believe the motion being detected isn't human at all, but something drawn in from the nearby cemetery. And a few go even further, suggesting that Appalachia is known for things that don't stay buried, things that wander, observe, and slowly make their presence known. The light turning on and off might be the smallest sign, because in many stories, movement comes first, then the sounds, then the sightings. So could this be a spirit tied to the funeral home, something crossing over from the cemetery, or something far older that knows exactly where it is? You decide. Has it ever happened to you that something occurs in the moment, feels strange, but doesn't truly sink in until months or even years later? That's exactly what happened to the woman in this next video. On the day of her father's funeral, emotions were already running high. Grief, exhaustion, shock, all layered on top of one another, and as the service was taking place, her husband was holding their young son while recording. Have a look. And this is why many people believe young children shouldn't attend funerals. Not just because they don't fully understand death, but because they're often considered more sensitive to emotional shifts, spiritual tension, or environments heavy with grief. But then there were those who offered a more grounded explanation, that the child was overwhelmed by the setting, the crying, the unfamiliar faces, and his mind filled in the blanks. Still, the timing, the wording, and the calm way the child said it continues to trouble viewers. Whatever the boy saw that day, imagination, emotional overload, or something far more unsettling, it stayed with her long after seeing this video 11 years after. And whatever happened that day remains a mystery. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo investigation at the infamous Squirrel Cage Jail, officially known as the Pottawatomie County Jail in Iowa. This time, Ian heads up to the second floor and steps into one of the most unsettling areas of the entire jail, the shower room. This space has long been surrounded by dark rumors. Former inmates described it as a place of vulnerability, where tensions ran high and violence wasn't uncommon. Many believe whatever lingered here never truly left, but when Ian first entered, it was unusually quiet, no sounds and no movement. It was almost too calm until this happened. Watch closely.
I don't really see what people are talking about. I don't think there's anything weird about this shower. Either nobody's in here or you're simply scared. Scared of me, of all people? Come on. Do something. Bang on something. I'm not really sensing anything in there. So I guess we'll move on. What the heck was that? What? Holy shit! That rag just moved! What? Look, there's nobody in here. Dude, something just moved that rag. It was in this cell. Holy shit. Oh my god. I can't believe that.
At first, Ian only catches it out of the corner of his eye, just a slight movement that makes him pause. He questions himself, wondering if it's just nerves or fatigue playing tricks on him. But when he turns back, there's no denying it. The rag moved, and it didn't just happen once, it happened right before his eyes twice. There was no draft, no open windows, no logical airflow in a sealed concrete shower room. Many believe spirits in places like this don't always announce themselves loudly. Sometimes they test boundaries first, small movements, quiet confirmations, before escalating. Others suggest this could be the residual energy of inmates who spent countless vulnerable moments here, replaying over and over like a loop trapped in time. And then there's the more disturbing theory. Some say the shower areas in old jails weren't just places to clean up, they were places of fear, punishment, and sometimes death. If something attached itself to that trauma, it might still be lingering, watching, reacting. Ian tried to stay calm, but you can hear the shift in his voice. This wasn't something he imagined, this was something that responded. And in a jail known for trapping people in rotating cells when mechanisms failed, you can't help but wonder, what else here is still trapped? And waiting to be noticed? Because in places like the Squirrel Cage Jail, silence doesn't mean empty. Sometimes it just means something is standing very still. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. In the following video, a woman named Kalia opens up about something that has been unsettling her for years. Her 7-year-old daughter claims she sees things no one else can. According to Kalia, it all began when her daughter was just 3 years old. She would point at corners of the road, wave at empty hallways, and describe people walking through their home that no one else could see. Sometimes she mentioned the lady with the blue dress, other times the tall man who stands by the kitchen door at night. Now, her daughter insists she sees Kalia's father, who passed away long before the child was born, moving around their house like he never left. One day, while homesick from school, the little girl made another unsettling statement. Watch.
Who's the man in the picture?
Why? Did you see him?
Yeah, but I saw him upstairs.
You what?
I saw him upstairs.
What was he doing?
Standing here?
He was standing there?
Uh-huh.
He ain't say nothing to you?
Uh-huh.
Did he scare you? Was you scared?
No.
That's right. You don't need to be scared because that's your pap. Maybe he just came to see you. He didn't scare you when you seen him upstairs?
Uh-huh. So
Where's he at? He's in heaven.
Oh.
He's in heaven. He died when Mommy was little.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in heaven.
I didn't know that way.
Yeah.
That's why he died. Why he dying from?
Yeah, he was in a car accident.
Car accident?
Did you see him last night or this morning? When did you see him?
I see him in upstairs.
You see the man upstairs when? Last night?
Uh-huh. And he's in heaven.
But you seen him last night.
Yeah, I've seen him last night. So he's dead?
Yeah.
So in your belly.
Okay.
The comment section exploded when she said those final words. In your belly. Some believe she was sensing a pregnancy, possibly even a reincarnation of Kalia's father. Others urged her to look into her family history because children with this kind of sight often inherit it. When Kalia finally did, everything clicked into place. She discovered that her grandmother was born with a veil over her face, a sign many believe marks a child with spiritual sight. Her grandmother reportedly always knew when someone was about to pass, saying she could see angels hovering above their homes in the days before it happened. And now, her own daughter seems to be showing the same signs, a connection across 3 generations, one that both fascinates and terrifies Kalia. But until Kay gives more updates, this one remains completely unsolved. Now, in this next clip, Kyle's crawlspace wakes him up yet again in the middle of the night. He'd been hearing strange noises coming from underneath the house for weeks, but this time it was loud enough to pull him out of bed. When he stepped outside to check, he captured this on camera.
Jesus Christ. I'm opening it. No, just go inside. Go inside. I'm opening it. I'm doing it. Jesus Christ. All right, fucking. Holy shit. Come on. Come on. Can't get this damn thing open. What the Oh, shit. Jesus. What the
Look closely. A figure was captured, and according to Kyle, things only got worse after that night. Some people say crawl spaces are hotspots for paranormal activity because of stagnant air, trapped energy, and the forgotten things previous tenants leave behind. Others say renters often seal a crawl space the moment they discover one, covering vents, locking access panels, or even placing salt barriers, just to stop whatever might be hiding underneath from wandering into the main house. But whatever was living under Kyle's home, it didn't seem interested in staying hidden anymore. In this next video, a guy living alone with his cat has been dealing with strange activity around his home. Small things going missing, doors clicking shut on their own, and that uneasy feeling of movement in the room when he's completely still. This time, he finally managed to catch one of those moments on camera. Now, there are two major perspectives people argue about when it comes to clips like this. On one hand, many believe that if something truly paranormal is in the room, the cat would sense it first. They pick up on shifts in air, sound frequencies humans can't hear, and changes in energy. Cats staring at corners, following something invisible with their eyes, or suddenly puffing up are usually taken as signs that something is there. But on the other hand, there's an entire group that argues the opposite. Cats don't always react, especially if the presence is familiar, subtle, or something they've already gotten used to. Some say pets coexist with unseen things in ways humans can't understand, and silence from a cat doesn't always mean nothing is happening. So what do you think? If there really was something in that house, would the cat have reacted? Or is this one of those rare moments where the human caught something the animal didn't? Now, in this next clip, things take a far stranger turn. Lauren Lowe, an animal lover and a mom, was cleaning her daughter's room in broad daylight when she suddenly heard this.
I'm in my daughter's room, and I just heard tapping. Hold on. Like, it sounded like it came from right up here. And there's nothing right above. There's nothing above. There's no floor right above this room. Hold on. Hold on, let me turn my light so you can see it better. Hold on. Hold on. So there's nothing. It's just my daughter's closet. There's nothing in there. That was so weird. I hope you guys heard that. I fucking keep seeing weird shit. That was weird. I hope you guys heard that tapping. Okay. Weird.
And here's what makes that sound so unsettling. This house has no attic and no basement. So what's causing the noise? But that was only the beginning. A few nights later, around 10 p.m., her dog started acting strange, growling, pacing, staring at the door like something was standing right behind it. So Lauren opened the door. Take a look.
What is it? Is there something there? Let's see here. What the f is that noise? Come on. Go on, Teddy. Go. What was that? What was that? What was that? Come here, Teddy. Oh my God, what was that noise?
If you watch closely, a figure slips through the kitchen area right behind the lampstand. And with everything she's been experiencing in this house, she's becoming convinced there's someone, or something, living in her home that shouldn't be there. So she finally decided to set up a camera, but while she was trying to set it up, this happened.
Okay, I'm finally gonna go put the camera in because we obviously heard some really weird, strange noises last night. We heard a loud bang. That was Teddy. That was Teddy running up the stairs. You can see him. He's going upstairs with me. Okay. All right. So we're putting this camera inside this room today, which is where I saw the hoof prints, which are still there. As you can see, those hoof prints are there. Everybody wants to say that that is furniture indentions. It's not. Okay, so I'm gonna set the camera right here, facing, maybe right here, facing out. Okay. Oh my God. Jeff? Was that you? What? The door just slammed behind me. Was that you?
Am I upstairs?
Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back down. I'm coming back down. I'm coming back down. Yes, the door just slammed on me.
prints appearing on the carpet, tapping sounds, figures moving through the background, and now the door closing on its own. The activity is escalating fast, and what scares Lauren the most is that her husband isn't bothered at all. He's lived with lions and tigers, so a random footprint on the carpet doesn't even bother him. But let's see how long that confidence lasts, because when things get intense, it's hard to ignore. So what do you think is in their house? A spirit, a trespasser, or something else entirely? This next clip was captured by a home camera, and the wife, Annalisa, is completely shaken by what she found. Have a look. In the first recording, it almost looks like a figure casually walking. Then, in the second clip, a voice whispers, "Eric." And this happens barely 2 minutes after her husband, Eric, left for work. People often say that when you hear your name, especially when you're alone, it can mean a few different things. Some believe it's a spirit trying to get your attention. Others say it's a form of mimicry, the kind associated with entities that repeat familiar voices to draw people in. And then there's the psychological angle, that your mind sometimes fills silence with something it expects to hear, but that doesn't quite explain a voice captured on camera. So what do you think this is? A coincidence, a call, or something that knows Eric's name a little too well? In this next video, a mother named Monique put together a compilation of the strange things that have been happening inside her home. And the weirdest part? There's a pattern. Every single incident seems to involve only her baby's belongings. Nothing else in the house ever moves, shifts, or falls. Just the baby's things. And for some reason, Monique is convinced it's her grandmother trying to make her presence known. Watch this. At first glance, your mind might jump straight to gravity or maybe vibrations from someone walking, but once you see the baby's bouncy chair start moving and the piano move, that explanation becomes harder and harder to hold on to. But here's why Monique believes it's her grandmother. Before she passed, her grandmother was obsessed with the idea of protecting every new baby born into the family. She'd always say they arrived with angels still holding on to them. She also used to buy musical toys for every grandchild, saying music kept children safe. And the day Monique brought her baby home, she swears she felt her grandmother's perfume, the exact scent, near the crib. So now, seeing only the baby's toys activate quietly, gently, almost like someone playing with the child from the other side, she can't help but feel it's her grandmother checking in. But if it's not her grandma or a friendly spirit, many people have already advised Monique to sage the house, open every window, and let whatever energy is inside leave. But will this really help or make the situation worse? I'll leave it to you to decide. Now, in this next clip, the popular ghost hunter Ian continues his late-night exploration deep in the Minnesota woods, heading straight for an isolated cemetery locals whisper about endlessly. It's a place people avoid after dark, and at the center of it sits something even darker. A grave the town calls the Glowing Grave. From the previous clip we posted, the fence surrounding the grave rattled on its own. But instead of leaving, Ian pushed deeper. He wanted answers. He wanted to know who or what was trying to get his attention. So he attempted to communicate with whatever spirit was tied to that grave.
Let's say, Nanny? Is your name Nanny? Whoa. Okay. I take that as a yes. Thank you. I take it you're a female. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Does that say what I think it says? 5 years old? Oh my God. I'm so sorry. That is so tragic. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why you come off so playful. My name is Ian, and I'd just like to be your friend. Is there anybody else that's buried here? Whoa, I just heard your voice. Could you say it once more? Dude, oh my God, I just heard you again.
Moments later, Ian discovered that there weren't just one, but two spirits said to haunt this burial spot. Nanny Bickle, who passed away at age 5, and Ida Bickle, who passed at 7. Curious and uneasy, he pulled out his camera to take a picture, and that's when everything became real.
So much awesome activity over here. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my God, those are moving. Would you like your picture taken? Pose for the photo. Could you smile? All right, I'm gonna count to 3, okay? And I want you to pose for this photo. 1, 2, 3.
If you look closely at this photo, two misty figures appear to be standing at the grave. Two small hazy silhouettes shaped like little girls, both staring directly into the camera from the darkness. Their outlines look almost like children caught between worlds, watching Ian as if they'd been waiting for someone to finally see them. For Ian, this was the proof he needed, that he wasn't alone out there. The following video was recorded by Francisco, a man who works at the Gallup Indian Medical Center, a place known for late-night emergencies, long quiet hallways, and the kind of unexplained noises staff usually try not to think too much about. Things fall on their own sometimes. Doors close when no one's around, and workers have shared stories of hearing footsteps long after the wards are empty. And on this particular evening, Francisco had his own experience. He was the only person left at work around 5 p.m. when he started hearing things.
And I'm just recording because I don't know who it could be or anyone's here. It's just me here. It's like 5 o'clock and nobody's here and I'm the only one here ready to leave. Hello? 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 It's crazy because there's nobody here. Hello? 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 Where is it coming There's nobody. I don't know where that noise is coming from. Hello? Anybody here?
He kept walking from one section of the office to another, checking every corner, every hallway, but there was nothing. Yet the knocking continued, clear, deliberate. And according to some beliefs, when a knock happens 3 times, it's not always a person. Some say it's a way for a spirit to mimic human behavior. Others believe it's a warning or a way to get someone's attention. Unsettled and unable to shake the experience, Francisco went straight to the security unit to explain what had happened. But when they pulled up the feed, no one was there. Just Francisco, and whoever or whatever wanted him to know he wasn't alone. Now Francisco is left with one question. If this happens again, what's he supposed to do? Ignore it, confront it, or leave it completely alone? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. This next clip was captured around 3 a.m. by a family you might remember from a previous video on this channel, but let me give you a quick rundown so you're not lost. It all started on random nights when their daughter would suddenly wake up crying, and while they were trying to calm her down, they'd hear someone knocking on their front door. At first it seemed harmless, maybe a confused neighbor, maybe someone who had the wrong apartment, the kind of thing you brush off because you don't want to assume the worst. But it kept happening, night after night. Same soft knocking, same timing, and eventually curiosity got the best of them. One night, the father finally decided to check, and when he opened the door, there was a figure standing right outside. People who watched that first clip said the family made a huge mistake opening the door at that hour, because whatever that figure was, it's like something shifted after that moment. The knocking stopped, but other things started happening. Watch this.
Se están escuchando ruidos en la parte de abajo de la casa. Buenas noches. Buenas noches.
Hay una nueva mirada sobre los cuerpos, la edad, las identidades de género, el lujo.
¿Ya vieron el sillón?
Hice mi primer dieta a los 9 años. They all love me, but they want me to lose weight. Tienen como una propia cárcel. ¿Qué pasa cuando nos sacamos todo? ¿Qué quieres? ¿Te animas a repetirte?
Desvestida, la moda pasó de moda. Todos los domingos, 10 de la
Se estaba moviendo, lo juro por Dios.
por Star Channel.
Cada vez empeora más esto. ¿Quién anda ahí? Buenas. Estoy bastante preocupado, se escucha ahora ruidos allá arriba. Sea lo que seas, no perteneces aquí. No sé qué quieras. Vete de aquí, por favor. ¿Quién diablos prendió la televisión? Esta tele también.
Now the TV turns on by itself at night, and the rocking chair in the living room moves on its own. Slow, steady, like someone invisible has settled into it and is gently rocking back and forth. Viewers believe whatever had been knocking might have slipped inside when the door opened, almost as if the opening itself acted like an invitation. Others think the presence had been waiting for acknowledgement, and that moment at the door was the confirmation it needed. And with the rocking, the electronics flickering and powering on, and the strange, heavy silence where the knocking used to be, a lot of people feel this might only be the beginning of something more intense in that house. But what do you think is happening here? And what exactly can a family do in a situation like this? They might just be reading the comments looking for answers. The following clip has sparked a debate among believers and skeptics, and it all centers on a woman named Sydney and her sister Gretchen, Gretch as she calls her, who rented an Airbnb for a wedding they had that weekend. Only a few minutes after settling in, Sydney stepped out to walk the dog, but when she came back inside, this is what she met.
Great! Touch it! Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god! What is that?
The curtain, the balloon, and the dog's leash that suddenly flung into the air on the staircase like someone yanked it upward. Skeptics immediately jumped in, insisting it was just the wind, or maybe the house settling, but others pushed back, pointing out how each object moved, almost as if something was interacting with them. Sydney and Gretch couldn't shake the feeling that something about this place was off, but it was only their first hour in the house, and leaving right away felt like they'd be overreacting. And besides, the dog seemed calm, which most people agreed was a sign there was nothing to worry about, but soon that would change.
Okay, so this is the leash. If this moves, I'm literally going to run. There she goes again. I don't think the leash is gonna move, but she's definitely sensing something. Every single day.
With the way the dog was reacting, there's definitely something on those stairs. It wasn't the curious kind of sniffing dogs do when they pick up a new scent. This was cautious, stiff, almost like he was bracing for whatever he sensed up there. And to make matters worse, one viewer commented that she actually recognized the Airbnb because of the carpet pattern, and claimed someone had died on those exact steps. Some believe that kind of energy can linger, attaching itself to the place and replaying moments of fear. Others think trauma can open a doorway, like the house becomes a magnet for things that don't belong in this world anymore. Sydney, determined to make sense of what was going on, began quietly looking around the house, checking corners and details she'd ignored when they first arrived. That's when she discovered something that might be the missing piece to their puzzle. Watch this.
Okay, so I think I figured out why my dog just is always hanging out right here. So I just found a door back here. So I don't think that it's what's on the stairs. I think it's something that's underneath. So I tried to check, but the door is locked,
obviously it's an Airbnb, so they lock a lot of the doors up, but so yeah, I don't think that it's what's on the stairs like what I initially thought. I think it's what's below. I'm gonna find out at this point.
Now that they'd found a locked basement under the stairs, things finally began to add up. Sydney couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was happening on those steps, whatever her dog kept sensing and pacing around, was connected to whatever was sealed behind that door. It was almost like the dog was reacting to something moving underneath them, something it could feel but they couldn't. Curious and honestly a little desperate for answers, Sydney slid her phone under the door to see what might be inside. Watch this.
So this is the switch. You guys can see their light is on right there. I wonder if
just maybe there's someone right behind the door. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god, did that just happen?
The doorknob suddenly moved, like someone was trying to open it from the inside. At that point, the ladies were terrified, their thoughts going in every direction. At first, they tried to think logically. They even wondered if someone might actually be living down there because they'd experienced something similar at another Airbnb where the host was secretly double renting rooms. But when they checked the house again and found no one there, that theory fell apart, leaving them with something much more unsettling. After taking a moment to breathe and think through what just happened, the sisters decided to try again, this time hoping to catch whatever was turning the doorknob. But something even more terrifying happened. Have a look.
Scary. Okay, every time we've knocked before, this doorknob would turn a little bit.
Something yanked the phone straight out of Sydney's hand from the basement, and when the phone landed down there was no visible person in sight. Yet the phone kept moving, almost like it was being dragged or nudged by something just out of frame. Viewers started speculating immediately. Some thought someone was hiding in the shadows, others swore it looked like the phone was being pulled by an invisible force, the way objects shift during severe residual hauntings. They called the host, who eventually came over to unlock the basement so Sydney could retrieve her phone. But when he arrived, Sydney and her sister noticed something they couldn't ignore. Watch.
But there's no reason for me to go that way. But I'm waiting to start hearing things from coming underneath my house. That's it. I'm out of here. The door. Okay, well, door too. It's creepy.
Thank you.
The host had a tattoo of nested triangles on his right palm, and several viewers said they would bet anything that he knew more about that room than he was letting on. The symbol itself sent the comment section spiraling. Many viewers immediately recognized the symbol, saying it's associated with occult practices, protection marks, or rituals involving gateways or sealed rooms. The fact that this symbol was on his hand and the basement was locked under the stairs sent people into a frenzy. A few even suggested the tattoo might mean he tried sealing something in that basement, and that whatever it was might not be fully contained anymore. The situation worried a lot of people. Viewers kept asking for details, urging the sisters to leave the Airbnb immediately. Some even insisted they could get a refund if the host failed to disclose that someone else might also be renting the space. Eventually, Sydney responded with this update.
Okay, so I sent the video to the landlord of the Airbnb, and hold on, let me turn on the light. Okay, I sent the video to the landlord of the Airbnb asking, like, hey, is there someone else renting it out as well as us or what? Because there's a room under the stairs that we can't get into. It's locked, so I didn't know. And basically he was like, no, you guys are the only ones that are in the Airbnb right now, like booked out for the week. So okay, kind of feel relieved in a way, because I think it would be really weird and kind of creepy if there were people staying there as well that we didn't know about. But yeah, he didn't seem worried at all about it, so we'll see.
Now, Sydney is convinced they aren't dealing with a simple rental mishap. With the unexplained movement, the dog's behavior, the locked basement, the shaking doorknob, the phone being pulled, and the host's unsettling tattoo, it's getting harder and harder to deny that something else might be in that house. So what was in the basement? A spirit trying to get out? Or something trying very hard to keep others from getting in? You decide. The following clip was captured inside the Old Gila County Jail in Globe, Arizona, widely considered one of the most haunted locations in the state. Since its closure in 1981, the jail has become a hotspot for paranormal investigations and has even appeared on shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. One of the jail's most disturbing stories centers around a former inmate whose life ended inside his cell in 1911 while he was awaiting trial for the drowning of 2 young girls. In the days leading up to his death, he claimed the spirits of those girls were visiting him, tormenting him inside his cell. To this day, visitors report sudden drops in temperature, an overwhelming sense of dread, and faint sobbing near his former cell in cell block B. Over the years, guests and investigators have also reported being touched, scratched, or pushed by unseen forces, along with disembodied voices, unexplained footsteps, and loud bangs echoing through the second floor. On this particular night, a group of investigators set up a camera at the foot of one of the staircases. Watch closely.
I hear something in here now. Whatever it is, you have to drive on this line. Yep, oh, I guarantee we do. Just one on worry about it. You might need to walk through and see what's going on.
This voice is impressive on its own, but what makes it even more compelling is that one of our 2 investigators talking at the top of the stairs, discussing their worry about the rain, caught the same voice from one of their cameras. Take a listen.
Here, Riley? Yeah.
We let this video extend a bit longer to give you a comparison of the 3 voices heard in this clip, our 2 investigators' voices, and the 3rd disembodied voice. To add to the mystery surrounding these stairs, less than 2 hours later, another camera at the top of these stairs automatically shuts itself off. Our team hurried to figure out what happened to the camera, realizing that we need to fix this unknown issue downstairs at base camp. This is what happened. After going through over 3 hours of footage, listening through the heavy rain and natural echoes through the prison, this voice is only heard twice. What are your thoughts?
Some believe it may be connected to the inmate whose restless presence is said to linger near the upper floors, while others think it could be something even older tied to the jail itself. It's moments like this that remind people why the old Gila County Jail continues to be an enigma, one that refuses to give up its secrets. Now this next clip comes from a guy named Chris, who regularly explores abandoned buildings with long, often unsettling histories. In this particular video, he's inside one of those locations alone, documenting the space when something strange is caught on camera. Watch closely.
Did you hear that? That was loud. What the hell? What the fuck? What the fuck was that?
At first, there's a loud bang that echoes through the building, sharp enough to make him freeze. Almost immediately after, you can see something shift in the frame, subtle but unmistakable. Chris later explains that in that exact moment, it felt like someone reached out and grabbed him by the shoulder. When this video surfaced, reactions were split. Viewers unfamiliar with Chris and his work were quick to dismiss it as post-production editing or a staged effect. But longtime followers pointed out that Chris doesn't usually sensationalize his footage, and that abandoned structures like this are often unpredictable, both structurally and otherwise. Whether it was something physical, something paranormal, or just a moment caught at the worst possible time, one thing is clear: whatever happened in that building left Chris visibly shaken. And for many who've explored places like this before, that reaction says more than the footage itself. In the following video, a man says he's been dealing with a persistent and unsettling feeling that someone is inside his house with him. And whenever that feeling hits, it's not subtle. His chest suddenly feels heavy, like the air around him has thickened, making it hard to breathe normally. He describes it as a pressure that comes out of nowhere, usually late at night when the house is quiet. One night, that same feeling returned. Instead of brushing it off, he picked up his phone, hoping to finally catch whoever or whatever was causing it. But what he ended up recording was something he didn't expect at all. Watch closely. After seeing this, he says he's now convinced that something is moving freely inside his home, aware of his presence, but careful about when it reveals itself. Some viewers believe this could explain the physical sensations he's been feeling, suggesting that intense fear or stress can manifest as chest pressure when someone senses danger. Paranormal investigators often approach situations like this in different ways. Some believe acknowledging the presence gives it strength, while others suggest setting firm boundaries, cleansing the space, or even temporarily leaving the home to break whatever attachment may exist. And then there are those who say that when your instincts keep warning you, when your body reacts before your mind does, it's not something to ignore. Because sometimes when your gut tells you you're not alone, it might already be too late to pretend otherwise. This next video is about Kyle, who has been living in this house for about a year and a half, and whatever is happening there has never stayed in one place. The activity seems to move freely through the home, starting in the crawl space, then shifting to the attic, later the garage, and now even the rooms where he sleeps. Kyle reports hearing children laughing in empty hallways, objects shifting when no one is near them, and sudden noises that don't repeat in the same location twice. Hoping to find a logical source, Kyle decides to check the attic himself, thinking maybe there's something hidden or overlooked that could explain everything. But what he finds only raises more questions. Watch.
Shit. Oh my God. Shit. Damn it. I'm hearing voices up here again. Yo. There's like a little kid laughing. Surely you heard that. Oh man, it's getting funny at this point. What the heck? I think some of y'all are right. I think ever since I put that ornament that I found up here on the Christmas tree, things have been a little wild. Happy holidays, I guess. Okay, maybe it's time to get out of here. I thought I was going to come up here and look around, see if I could find anything else, but we might have to... Maybe I just need to get a friend to come with me or something. Yeah, we'll see about that.
At first, Kyle believes he's only hearing voices, but if you look closely, a figure appears to be standing completely still directly in front of him. Some viewers also point out faint orbs drifting through the frame, and combined with the voices, many believe the attic was already fully active before Kyle ever stepped inside. Whether this is a single entity moving through the house or something far more complex, one thing is clear: the activity in Kyle's home isn't slowing down. Now in this next video, a man shares footage that many viewers say proves that renovating a house doesn't erase whatever energy is already there. Here's a bit of background. The house was originally built in 1949 and has gone through several renovations over the years. At the time this video was recorded, it was still occupied by an elderly woman, and the man in the clip would regularly come by to carry out remodeling work. But according to him, every time he stepped into the house, something felt off. He described sudden cold spots, the uneasy feeling of being watched, and no matter how long he stayed, he never felt fully alone. One day, while working in the basement, something happened right in front of him. Watch. Viewers were quick to point out that there's no obvious explanation for how it shifts the way it does. Some believe the age of the house plays a role, that decades of lived experiences, emotions, and unresolved events can leave something behind, especially in places like basements where energy is said to linger. Others think the activity could be tied to the former owner herself, or even the tension surrounding the home. Shortly after this was recorded, the elderly woman was moved into a nursing home and the house was put up for sale. According to the man, the family had already begun arguing over money and her will, creating even more unrest around the property. Whether it's residual energy from the past, something attached to the house itself, or just another unexplained moment caught on camera, this home seems to carry more than just its history, and whatever moved that chair may not be finished making its presence known. In this next clip, a family was settling in for the night, watching a horror movie called The Deliverance, a film inspired by the real-life 2011 Demon House case of LaToya Ammons in Gary, Indiana. Everything felt normal at first, just another scary movie night, until the atmosphere inside the house began to change. Right in the middle of the film, the power suddenly went out in the parlor. Almost immediately after, the family felt a heavy shift in the room, the unmistakable sensation that someone had just walked into the living room with them. Panicked, they went to their rooms, hoping whatever it was would stop there. But whatever entered the house that night wasn't finished. Watch.
Oh, hell no! Bro, stop. Bro, what the? Oh, hell no, you gotta go.
After this encounter, the family swore off horror movies completely. Many viewers believe films based on real events can stir up fear, emotion, and attention, things that some say act like an invitation. Others argue it's a coincidence, that the tension from the movie simply heightened their senses. But there are also those who warn that once something makes itself known, it doesn't always leave on its own. The real concern now is whether this was a one-time incident, or the beginning of something that plans to come back when the house goes quiet again. What do you think? Now, in this next video, a family's dog has been acting strangely, and what it reacts to has left viewers uneasy. Watch closely. The dog is clearly seeing something no one else can see, but two details immediately stand out. First, the family doesn't seem overly concerned. They brush it off, suggesting the dog is simply acting out or responding to a random noise. And second, when the dog becomes more agitated, they shush it, a moment that made many viewers uncomfortable. A lot of people believe animals sense changes in their environment long before humans do, especially when it comes to unfamiliar presences or sudden shifts in energy. What makes this even stranger is that only one dog reacts. So, what do you think? An overreactive pet? Or the only one in the house paying attention? Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo exploration through the haunted buildings of Bonanzaville. Still inside the mansion, he enters one particular bedroom that many visitors say feels different from the rest. This is the room where people have reported seeing an imprint on the bed, as if someone is lying there even when the room is empty. It's also believed to be the very room where the mansion's owner, David, passed away. Watch closely.
Well, doesn't really look like it. David, did you die in this room? I heard you died of a brain hemorrhage, and I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Are you the one that leaves the imprint on the pillow? Could you do it right now? What the heck is that? What is that? Somebody downstairs? What the heck is that? It's like a jingling sound. What the heck is that? It's down there.
After leaving the room, Ian starts hearing unexplained sounds coming from downstairs. As he follows the sound, he captures something even more unsettling.
Wait a minute. Look at that. Dude, those things are freaking moving. Oh, hell no. Hell no. How is that even possible? Look at that. You're freaking moving like crazy. And that's our seance table. That's even more terrifying. Oh, God. How is that even happening? There's no air in here or anything. Oh, God. Look at that. They're still moving. Oh, what? Dude, this camera just died.
The crystals on the lamp begin swaying back and forth aggressively, far more than a draft or vibration could explain. What makes this moment even stranger is what happens next. As Ian approaches the table, both of his cameras suddenly die, despite showing full battery just moments earlier. Almost immediately, Ian begins to feel lightheaded, overwhelmed, and uneasy, sensations many investigators associate with intense paranormal encounters. Realizing something may not want him there anymore, Ian makes the decision to leave the mansion. Was this a warning, or something following him all along? You decide. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was recorded on the same day Kyle's crawlspace woke him up yet again. For weeks, he'd been hearing strange noises coming from underneath the house. Soft knocks, shuffling, and the kind of slow dragging sounds that make you question whether something living, or something else entirely, is down there. But this time, the noise was loud enough to pull him straight out of bed. He grabbed a flashlight, went into the crawlspace to check, and saw a dark figure standing completely still in the far corner, almost as if it had been waiting for him. Later that night, things escalated. Watch.
What the fuck? Shit. What the fuck? Yo, my house is going crazy tonight. Shit. It's going crazy. The crossface thing just happened. It just happened. I'm sure I'm going to be posting that. And now the lights are just going crazy. What the... And my freaking flashlight ain't working. Turn the flash on here. Look at this. Look. What the... Shit.
Kyle has been living in this house for about a year and a half, and the activity has never stayed in one location. It's moved through every part of his home, from the crawl space, to the attic, to the garage, and now even inside the rooms where he sleeps. He's heard children laughing in empty hallways. He's seen objects shift on their own. Many believe the pattern suggests something intelligent, something that isn't tied to a single spot, but instead travels through the home at will. Others think Kyle might be dealing with more than one presence, but the truth is, no one has been able to pinpoint a clear cause for the escalating activity in Kyle's home, and every new clip only makes the situation more unsettling. In this next clip, a couple unknowingly bought a haunted Airbnb, and from the very first day they settled in, it's been one thing after another. Strange noises echoing through the hallways, objects shifting when no one is near them, cold patches moving from room to room, and every now and then the unmistakable sound of footsteps pacing in the basement even though no one lives below. But the moment that really made them start documenting everything happened on October 23rd at around 6:10 p.m. The wife and their dog, Vito, were downstairs when they both froze at the same time, hearing something moving in the upstairs portion of the Airbnb. Vito ran ahead up the staircase, but the second he reached the top, he flinched hard at something none of them could see. Watch this.
Vito, come on back, buddy. Come on. Poor buddy.
According to the wife, for weeks now, Vito refuses to go any further than the top of the stairs. And anyone familiar with paranormal cases knows that is never a good sign. Dogs avoid areas that have strong energy signatures, and whatever is upstairs clearly makes him feel unsafe. But you see, while the husband is exhausted, overwhelmed, and constantly on edge from the non-stop disturbances, the wife remains strangely calm. She says it's because this is his first brush with something paranormal, but for her, these things have been happening ever since she lost her mother 10 years ago. She's been on a long spiritual journey since then, visiting mediums, trying different forms of communication, and opening herself to all phases of the paranormal in hopes of feeling her mother's presence again. And that's exactly where a major debate started. Because many people believe this entire haunting might not be tied to the Airbnb at all, but to her. When you open yourself spiritually, especially through mediums, seances, or grief-driven communication, it's widely believed that you also open doors you don't fully understand. And instead of attracting a loved one, you may attract something completely different that simply mimics familiar emotions to get your attention. So now the rumors are beginning to shift away from a haunted Airbnb to a spirit attached to the wife, and the timing lines up disturbingly well. The couple eventually left the Airbnb and moved into a new home, hoping to escape whatever was happening. But it's starting to seem like something followed them there too. Listen closely.
Okay, if you have anything to tell us, we're listening. We heard you. What do you have to say?
She caught this voice on camera as her husband took their dog out for a walk. Some viewers were terrified, urging her not to respond to whatever it was, but according to her, not everything is demonic, and she feels some spirits simply want acknowledgement. She's even taken it upon herself to figure out exactly what's in her home, why it's there, and whether she can help it move on. But here's the part no one can ignore. If this truly began long before the Airbnb, then leaving the house was never going to solve the problem. The attachment might be to her, not the property. Weeks after this video was recorded, the whispering didn't stop. In fact, it became more frequent. Watch this.
So we're open to communication. There's been stuff happening on the property in our other building, and earlier today. So this is the time to talk if you have anything you want to say to us. You're getting tons of orbs.
And it's right where you said, like right here. Are you? See?
Tell us your story. We're open to hear. And we're not judgmental. You can tell us anything.
This time she couldn't clearly make out what it said, so she posted it online. And surprisingly, most viewers heard the same thing. The voice saying Maisie. Every other sound they've caught in that house has been confusing, distorted, or completely unintelligible. But this is the first time a name has come through clearly. Whether Maisie is the entity trying to reach out, a person connected to the wife's past, or something else entirely, they're still trying to figure it out. And they're hoping that one day they'll finally get an answer. Now, in this next video, a hospital worker was assigned to a room that many staff members quietly refer to as the haunted one. Every hospital has that one space, an older room with a heavy history, a place where people feel watched even when they're alone, a place where equipment seems to malfunction more than it should. And for her, this was that room. She said she felt uneasy the moment she stepped inside, so before she began her shift, she decided to test something. She set her camera up in the corner of the room and then walked away for a moment. When she came back to check the footage, this is what she caught. If this had happened in an ordinary house, maybe a bed moving on its own, people might try to explain it away. But this happening in a hospital, that's something people won't overlook. So many souls have groaned, suffered, and passed on in that exact bed. Some believe that the energy of a patient's final moments can cling to the objects around them, and others think someone might still be hanging on to the last moments they spent in this room. And when she shared more details, things only got stranger. This wasn't just any room. It was part of the labor and delivery department, and it was often used for patients in isolation due to severe illness, or patients experiencing IUFD cases where the emotional weight in the room is already overwhelming. She even added that most staff avoid placing anyone here unless they absolutely have to. Some don't even like standing in the doorway for too long. Even after hearing all of this, some people online still doubted the bed moved on its own, so she shared this clip.
Here, I'll plug it. Well, I guess it's plugged over here, but...
The remote was right there on the bed, completely unplugged, not connected to anything. And yet, the bed still lifted and lowered by itself, as if responding to a patient who wasn't physically there anymore. For many viewers who've had their own unsettling experiences in hospitals, this video opened the door for them to share their stories too. The comments were filled with people recalling similar encounters in quiet rooms, empty hallways, or places where life and death intersect every single day. So, if you've ever felt something unexplainable in a hospital, this might be the moment to share your story too. Now, you might recognize this house from previous videos, an old property that once belonged to an elderly couple who passed away, leaving the home completely abandoned for years. A ghost hunter and his crew had been investigating the place for weeks, documenting everything from quiet knocks in the hallway to objects shifting on their own. But on this particular night, they noticed something different, something that felt restless. For the first few hours, everything stayed relatively calm. A curtain swayed, a picture frame tilted, nothing too threatening, just the kind of subtle activity that makes investigators believe a spirit is simply trying to communicate. But that sense of calm didn't last. According to them, the longer they stayed, the more they felt like whatever was in that house had started to grow uncomfortable with their presence. Watch this.
Băi, dăm ciuta.
Băi, lasă-vă prostile, nu mai te plimbi. Băi, mă plimb în jurul tău. Dă-mă ciuta, lasă, dă ciuta omului. Te plimbi acum.
Băi, mă duc să văd o leacă ce are.
Băi, eu intru să...
Ce are scris pe ea, poate are scris pe ea 1743, că nebunesc. Da, bule. Băi, oprește-ți, iau ciuta aia. N-a futuz nația, măte. Na, dă-l jos. Dă-l jos, futuz rasa, măte, na. Na, că ți-am luat ciuta, uite-o.
Alin, pune-i măcar așa aia acolo.
Hai! Na, ciuta, sărăcio, ho, oprește-te!
Mâncați-aș pula ta.
Doamne ferească, Dumnezeu!
De la ciută...
Na, vă, mă, paranormal.
Măi, de la ciută faci așa.
Na, mă, ia la spânzuri cu ciuta aia, tragă în gura ta.
Ai pus-o invers, mai cu ciuta cu capul încolo, ai pus?
A fost scoasă din poză.
Ce-a făcut?
Da.
Da, am lipit-o și nu se mai poate deslipi.
Da, leagă-te la cap cu ea, dar ce nervi așa pe tine, mă, fată?
Ai pus ciuta cu capul încolo, băi. Vezi acum cine dă. Hai de pula mea.
Da, păi noi trebuie să mai râdim ca să nu ne căcăm pe noi. Am uitat să mă uit de subte. Hai că vin! Da, bune, am uitat să mă uit, mă, Didi. Ia uite, măi, na. Vezi că tu, mă, te poți să faci cât vrei.
Băi, pune.
Dă-i tare, du-te, tragă în gura ta.
Nu, în jur, băi, dar nu-i de aur.
Na. Na.
Each time they reached out to pick something up from the table, no matter what it was, the objects began vibrating violently until they dropped them, almost as if the spirit was saying, "Don't touch my things." Still, the investigators didn't leave. They believed the spirit wasn't trying to harm them, only protective, territorial, and clearly aware of everything they were doing. So they decided to do a full sweep of the house, hoping to capture more evidence of what they were dealing with.
Să ne arunci prin grinzele astea, să ne rupă capul și la revedere. N-auziți mărit? Măr! Dă-te, mă, ba pula, mă, să gata, băi, hai, divă, să închidem, să plecăm acasă, mă.
Măr.
Lasă-mă dracu în pace. Am zis măr, măi, la mișto am zis. Doamne ferească, Dumnezeu. Reptilian, măi, ce ăsta? Tactilograf.
Telegraf.
Every room they walked into seemed to respond to them, and the deeper they moved into the house, the more intense the activity became, like the spirit's patience was wearing thin.
Uite, mă, MF-ul ăla nu mai face nimic, nu se mai...
Măr.
Uite, și suntem cu telefonul la 2 metri de el.
Moartea în spectacol.
Ia, moartea în spectacol.
Mișcă la, da, asta o leagă.
M-a murit în război. Dă-te MF-ul jos, mă, până în jos.
Abandonat.
Că m-am auzit de MF că nu se mișcă, că nu s-a prins nicio lumină, l-a dat de tot jos. Măr!
De ce ai venit?
Îi vomite, ce face, mă, frate?
Se sugrumă, măi, cum așa face, cred că omul când se spânzură să facă, dar cred că ăsta-i somnul. Eu n-am auzit odată.
That moment finally gave them a little more insight. Whoever, or whatever, was still roaming this house belonged to someone who had suffered during the war. Some viewers believe it might be tied to the former homeowner who reportedly lost a loved one overseas. Others think it could be a residual imprint, a fragment of a soldier who once stayed there during troop movements decades ago. But until the team returns with more answers or clearer evidence, the true identity of the spirit still remains a mystery. In the following clip, an explorer visits Presidio de San Saba in Menard, Texas, a location many believe is haunted not just by legend but by history soaked in violence. Built in the mid-17th century, this presidio became the site of brutal conflict involving Spanish settlers and Comanche and Wichita tribes. Historical accounts describe violent attacks, torture, and countless lives lost on this very ground. People who never had the chance to leave peacefully. While exploring the ruins late at night, the explorer records with his phone in his right hand, holding a flashlight firmly in his left. As he scans the corner of the structure, something completely unexpected happens. A dark shadow suddenly comes into view. Watch closely.
Here's the room I'm in. There's the K2. There's the REM pod. There's the wall all the way to the corner.
What makes this moment so unsettling is where he's standing. He's backed into a corner with no visible objects nearby that could cast a moving shadow like that. Even more convincing, you can clearly see his hand on camera. The phone is steady in one, the flashlight fixed in the other, and yet the shadow moves in the opposite direction. Viewers also notice something else when pausing the footage frame by frame. For a split second, the shadow appears to have horn-like protrusions, giving it a shape that looks disturbing. That detail alone sparked intense debate online. Considering the violent past of Presidio de San Saba, a place where suffering, fear, and death once filled the air, many believe this wasn't just a trick of the light. Others argue there must be a rational explanation we're missing. So what do you think? Is this simply a shadow playing tricks on the eye? Or did this explorer momentarily capture something that never truly left these grounds? You decide. In this next clip, a man is simply spending time with his child, recording a casual video just to save the moment, something parents do every day without thinking twice. But while he's focused on his daughter, laughing and playing, something else is happening right in front of him, and he doesn't notice it at all. Thankfully, the camera does. Watch closely and pay attention to the blinds.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. That one hurt. Okay, you want me to make buckets now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna catch it.
Oh, you want to catch it and then put it?
Okay.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Yay! Yeah! You want the small one?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, oh.
This is too small.
Sorry. It's too small.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. No, almost. I mean, you hit SpongeBob though. Yay! Last one. 3, 1.
No, say 3.
Huh? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
You should say 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go. In the basket. In the basket.
Go again.
Okay.
The window is completely shut. There's no visible breeze, and you don't see any fingers or hands reaching through the blinds like someone trying to peek inside. Confused and unsettled, the father decides to check the security camera installed in the room, just to rule out any coincidence. But when he watches the footage back, he sees the exact same thing happen again from a different angle. Viewers began speculating. Some suggested airflow from a vent, others said it could have been pressure from outside the window, or even someone poking the blinds from outside. Many weren't convinced it was paranormal until he shared the next clip. Watch this.
This right here is the room where it actually happened. Okay. So I was just sitting here with my daughter. Well, she was actually on a bed playing with her toys that she always plays with. All of a sudden, I didn't understand what was going on, because the only way you can move the blinds is if you're inside the room. There's no possible way There's no possible way that someone can move the blinds from the outside of the room. There's no possible way somebody can just come up here and move the blinds from the inside.
This video made many people completely abandon logical explanations. The blinds are clearly touched from a height that would require someone to be at least 9 feet tall. There's no balcony, no platform, and no structure outside that could allow a person to reach that high. Wanting to be cautious, the man had his grandmother come over to bless the room. Even after that, though, he refused to let his daughter sleep there alone. During the day, though, she still goes in there to play, because locking the door would only raise more questions. And the answers are something a child her age wouldn't understand.
Okay, so this is the security camera that caught it. This is the whole area that it happened. I don't trust this area at all anymore, so my grandma had it blessed. Also, I don't feel safe in this place anymore at all. It's okay.
Everything seems calm on the surface, but the tension never really leaves. The father says he's constantly on edge, hoping the blessing worked and that whatever caused those movements is gone for good. But then, one evening, his daughter tells him she's seen someone in the room. Concerned, he goes in with her and stays close, just to reassure her. Then, this happens. After this encounter, his confidence completely collapsed. One blessing suddenly didn't feel like enough anymore. He began asking the same questions many parents in similar situations ask. Is this something that needs repeated blessings? Do these things come back? And is there a way to permanently protect a space once something has made itself known? Right now, he's doing everything he can to keep his daughter safe, but he's also searching for answers. If you've experienced something similar, or if you know of a solution that actually worked, this is the moment to share it. Because whatever is happening in that room clearly isn't finished yet. Now, in this next video, we're taken back into the home of a woman who says she's dealt with paranormal activity for years, to the point where it has seriously impacted her life. In the past, she shared that she suffered a concussion, experienced unexplained electrical shocks, and endured months of constant disturbances inside her house. Then, just as suddenly as it all began, everything stopped. For months, her home was completely calm. No noises, no movement, no strange sensations. And she didn't cleanse, bless, or remove anything during that time. The activity simply went quiet on its own. But recently, whatever was there seems to have returned. One afternoon, while she was in the kitchen fixing herself lunch, something happened. Watch closely. According to her, this isn't an isolated incident. She says objects have moved on their own before, including a knife that shifted unexpectedly and at night. Also, while trying to sleep, she has heard low growling sounds coming from inside the house. Viewers who follow her story closely began connecting dots almost immediately. Some believe the sudden pause and return of activity could point to something that goes dormant, then reactivates. Others suggest it may be tied to a specific object in her home, especially one item she's mentioned before, a doll she bought at a thrift store. Still, without definitive proof or new updates, everything remains speculation. So, until she shares more evidence or finds a clear explanation, this unsettling case remains completely unsolved. The following video was captured somewhere in Mexico, where a man named Dav noticed something deeply unsettling at his best friend's house, a property that is still under construction. For weeks, people living nearby had been complaining about strange things happening around the building. Some mentioned hearing loud noises late at night when no one was supposed to be there. A few neighbors even said they felt watched whenever they passed by the place after dark. One morning, Dav and his friend decided to go check the house for themselves, hoping to put the rumors to rest. Dav stayed outside, keeping watch near the entrance, while his girlfriend Gabriella insisted on going inside. She was excited to document the interior and show their friend how the construction was coming along. Watch closely.
Desde que llegué a la casa le dije a Gabriela que había alguien ahí. Chucho se fue a asomar, no. Y se ve bien puto raro, miren. Tiene la pinche jeta. Tiene los ojos brillosos. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Sí estás grabando? ¿Estás grabando? ¿Y no grabaste nada? Ahorita te enseño el video para que veas. Sobres. Cuidado. A ver, ahorita vemos el video de Gaby. Voy a grabar por si.
The figure Dav saw didn't look like a person who wandered in by mistake. It appeared oddly shaped, standing unnaturally still, and what terrified viewers the most were its glowing eyes. Many people familiar with paranormal folklore pointed out something chilling. Houses under construction are often believed to attract spirits because they're considered unfinished spaces, places without protection, history, or grounding yet. Some say these locations act like open doors, especially when the land itself has an unknown past. Others believe spirits are drawn to new structures because they disrupt old energies buried beneath the ground. So was this just an optical illusion inside an unfinished building? Or did Dav see something that had already been there long before the house was ever built? For now, no one has a clear answer, and this encounter remains deeply unsettling and unexplained. Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo exploration through Bonanzaville, an open-air museum made up of fully preserved historic buildings from different eras of North Dakota. While moving through one of the rooms, Ian suddenly hears what sounds like a woman's voice clearly asking, "Who are you?" Startled, he steps inside to see if anyone else is there, or if whatever spoke was still nearby. Watch closely.
Where are you in this room? That. Are you on this bed? If you're on this bed, could you move the blankets? I overheard that brothel work used to take place here. Are you, no disrespect, but lady of the night? I heard that again. Are you touching this bed? I keep hearing you. Wow. That was a heck of a string of activity. Jeez, that woman's voice was so clear on here. I still can't believe that. There's no doubt in my mind I was not alone in that room, and I'm not sure who that was. Man, I
I just feel like a cold breeze just passed me. Did somebody just go in front of me here? That's just like a wicked chill I got there.
Just seconds after Ian exits the room, something strange happens. A mist-like form begins to materialize from seemingly nothing, drifting through the space where the voice was heard moments earlier. When Ian reviews the footage, he can't shake the feeling that what he captured might have been the same presence, possibly the spirit of a woman rising from the bed and passing by him as a cold, unseen presence. Still processing what he's just experienced, Ian moves on to his next location inside Bonanzaville, the Houston Mansion. Built in 1891 on a bonanza farm, the mansion once belonged to David Houston, an inventor, farmer, and poet, and his wife Annie, a respected musician known across the state as the North Dakota songstress. Their life here was filled with creativity and acclaim, but it ended in tragedy. Employees and visitors alike are convinced that David and Annie never truly left. Reports of shadowy figures pacing the hallways, unexplained footsteps, and disembodied voices are common, especially on the second floor. Some claim David's spirit is particularly protective of the home, often frightening off visitors he doesn't approve of. His voice has even been heard muttering the words, "Get out." While inside the mansion, Ian decides to conduct a small test, a quiet attempt to see if either spirit is still present and willing to respond. Watch what happens next.
A pretty interesting tidbit about Annie and David is that they were actually spiritualists when they were alive. And it is said that Annie conducted seances on this very table. I've got a couple of dowsing rods here, and I'm gonna see if I can communicate. Annie, are you here? Whoa. Did you see that? Dang. Annie, if that was you, could you separate them? Whoa. Right away. Thank you. I take it you're familiar with these? Yes. Wow. Annie, is it true that you were a spiritualist? Uncross the rods if that's true. Yes. Wow. I heard you were a musician as well. Is that true? Yes, I didn't even have to ask to cross them. Wow, Annie, I'm getting like serious goosebumps right now. Annie, is it true? Is this table your seance table? If it is, could you uncross the rods? Wow. Holy moly. Just to confirm, Annie, could you point these rods towards your seance table? There you have it. I'm gonna move these rods up forward again. Annie, is it okay that I'm here? Are you okay with me visiting? If so, cross the rods. You're not crossing them. Annie, do you want me to leave? Whoa! Dude, I just freaking heard a whisper.
Could that have been Annie's voice finally answering and asking Ian to leave? Or was it something else entirely? Something that doesn't want anyone wandering the halls of the Houston mansion after dark? Whatever the case, Ian didn't feel welcome anymore. And judging by what he captured that night, maybe he never was. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. This next clip is an update from the family that once opened their door after weeks of strange knocking. The same family whose life changed from odd disturbances to full-blown haunting. Now, just when they thought things might calm down, The activity has escalated, and it's getting worse, especially around the kitchen. Watch.
Padre Santo. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad así en la tierra como en el cielo.
This isn't the soft, tentative knocking of before. This is aggressive, hard, demanding. It rattles the door's frame. It shakes the house. It doesn't stop after 1 or 2 knocks. It repeats, builds, as though whatever's on the other side has run out of patience and is desperate to get in. That alone raises a chilling question. They once opened the door, and after that, chaos followed. So why is there knocking again? Some believe when a spirit becomes comfortable with a house, it doesn't stay alone. It invites others. And those other presences tend to be far less patient, far more dangerous. With this kind of knocking, the thing behind the door could be far worse than what first showed up. Opening it may no longer just let in a curious specter, but something malevolent, something hungry. As desperate as this family must be, at this point, opening the door isn't an option. Not until they have a plan or someone powerful enough to handle what might come through. If you were them, what would you do now? Change house? Set up protection? Call professionals? Whatever their next move is, one thing is certain. What's behind that door may be beyond anything they've seen before, and until we get more footage, more answers, or some clarity, this remains a mystery. This next clip is also an update from a previous investigation where a team of ghost hunters explored an old property that once belonged to an elderly couple who passed away, leaving the home abandoned for years. For days they've been at the house, documenting everything from soft knocks echoing through the hallway to objects subtly shifting whenever no one was looking. At one point, if they reached out to pick something up, no matter whether it was a notebook, a candle, or even a cup, the table would suddenly start vibrating violently until they dropped the item, almost like the spirit was warning them, "Don't touch my things." Even then, the investigators didn't leave. They felt strongly that whatever was there wasn't aggressive, only protective. So they tried something different, something that would confirm whether a spirit was truly responding to them. Watch this.
Punem aici în geam și pe ăsta?
Da, nu știu, punem... Da, punem jos acolo.
Aici în casă?
Mai aici, în spate, la tablou. O pisare asta, nu știu, pe ceva.
Așa?
Da, nu contează.
Dar ce vrei să fac?
Hai să vezi acum șmecherii.
Explică-mi și mie.
Deci îl lăsăm pe Nea Gheorghe aici, da? Bun. Acum. Închidem balconul. Eu am prins care-i faza, ca să știți.
Lasă-mă și mergem, poate murim noi, ca măcar...
Mult, dar parcă n-ai mai murit.
Da, am murit, dar uite mai am.
Oricare spirit te află aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare strigoi, prin puterea primordială, ți ordon să miști tabloul ăsta sau să-l dai jos sau...
Eu am limba.
Da? Deci ceva se lega. Nu mă sperii, nu rămân surprins. Fiindcă știam, eram sigur, 90% eram sigur că o să se întâmple chestia asta.
Adică când ești amândoi în balcon faci așa?
Da, fii atent. Păi așa că-l iau. Stai așa. Am luat pe Nea Gheorghe și lăsăm mai...
Și acum ce se întâmplă? Din timp murim?
Băi, oricare spirit te afla aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare suflet neliniștit, prin puterea primordială îți ordon să miști. Du-te, fă cu meciul tău, tragă meciul tău, l-o da jos să moară familia mea, l-o dau jos.
That moment was all the proof they needed, and after that, the house changed. The activity grew stronger. Watch.
Ia-l repede, ia-l!
O căzut singur. O căzut singur. Ai de pula mea. De pula mea.
Doamne, mi-am făcut cruci. Credeți-mă pe bunic, mi-am făcut cruci.
Doamne, credeți-mă, pentru mâine asta că nu știu.
E gata-i.
Îl ard în tămâini.
E gata-i, nu mai, e gata-i.
Îl ard în tămâini.
O dispărut, mâncați-l. Tu, măi, Nea Gheorghe, măi.
Aschi-dau acum, stai așa.
Oricare spirit te află aici, îți ordon să faci ceea ce faci, să faci în fața camerei. Poza e jos, mă, acolo, rămas jos.
What came next sparked a completely different debate among viewers. Have a look.
Bun, Nea Gheorghe, dacă tot ești acolo lângă păpușa aia, poți un pic să o miști sau să o faci să meargă? Deci dacă se mișcă păpușa, am plecat acasă, vă zic de pe acum. Băga mea și pula în dracu să-mi bag. Gata, îmi bag pula în casa asta. Gata, fraților, v-am ban în casa asta. Ieși afară, băga mea și pula, nică ne omoară.
The discovery of those dolls shifted the entire conversation. Many began questioning whether the spirit they'd been communicating with was truly tied to the house, or tied to the dolls themselves. In the paranormal world, dolls are known to hold attachments. Spirits sometimes cling to them, reside in them, or even use them as vessels when they can't anchor themselves anywhere else. So now, there were two theories. Either the spirit belonged to someone who once lived in the home, or the previous owners unknowingly brought home a doll that already carried an attachment. After seeing those dolls move the way they did, the team didn't need any more convincing. They packed up their equipment, left the property immediately, and made it very clear they had no intention of spending another night inside that house. Now in this next video, a guy named Kyle, who you might remember from several of our previous videos, is still dealing with the same thing that's been tormenting him for months. Knocking sounds that seem to move from room to room, always following him, always getting louder. But this time, he was finally able to trace one of those knocks directly to the basement, and he discovered something that left him more confused than ever. Take a look.
Gosh dang it, I'm hearing that knocking sound again. There it is. Where is it coming from? Right there, right there. It's coming from this door. That's where it's been coming from. Somebody's knocking on that, or something is knocking on this freaking door. There's nobody there, obviously. Well, at least I now know where it's coming from.
Finding no one at the door, no footsteps, not even a shadow fleeing the scene, left him with only one conclusion. Whatever is knocking isn't human. And honestly, after everything Kyle has been through in that house, this shouldn't even be surprising anymore. Because remember, this is the same guy who woke up one night and caught a dark figure standing frozen inside his crawl space, unmoving, just staring straight ahead as if it had been waiting for him. The same guy who's heard children laughing in the middle of the night, even though he has no kids, seen things in his attic shift around on their own, and has documented footsteps pacing inside the walls, things falling in the garage, small objects getting pushed across the floor, and the worst one yet, his home camera once caught a figure standing quietly beside his bed while he slept, vanishing just seconds before he woke up. All these incidents, from the crawl space, to the attic, to the garage, to his bedroom, and now the basement, connect in one disturbing pattern. Whatever is in this house moves freely, watches him, and makes itself known whenever it wants to. So until Kyle drops more updates, this remains one of the hardest cases to decode. In the following video, a guy and his partner have been dealing with something extremely unsettling inside their home. For days now, they've been coming back from work to find their living room and kitchen completely out of place. Pillows on the floor, cabinets half open, small items thrown across the room, and once, an entire stack of folded laundry scattered across the hallway as if someone walked through it intentionally. One of them insisted it had to be the cat, but the other argued that it didn't make sense. The cat isn't strong enough to knock over half the things they found on the ground. So, to settle the argument once and for all, they installed cameras. Here's what the camera caught. This clearly shows the cat is innocent, but it also confirms something else entirely. The couple now has another presence in the house, one they never invited and one they don't understand. And after seeing that footage, their minds immediately shifted from who did this to what exactly are we living with and how dangerous can it be? So look closely at the clips to see if you can piece things together. Watch. After this second clip, people in the comments began forming their own theories. Many said the movement feels exactly like a child spirit, but it didn't only happen during the day. Watch this. Now, how do you explain a chair rocking on its own in the middle of the night, almost as if someone was sitting in it and pushing off the ground with their feet? That detail alone shifted the conversation. Some viewers pointed out that this kind of night activity usually means the spirit is fully comfortable, too comfortable. Others believe the chair movement ties directly to the mess during the day, suggesting the same presence is active around the clock. If it really is a child spirit, it might not even realize it's causing fear, just doing what kids do, playing, exploring, touching things that don't belong to them. But until more updates are shared, and until the couple figures out exactly what kind of presence they're dealing with, this case remains completely unsolved. Now, this next video captures something that genuinely shook a lot of viewers, because it happened while Rebecca was homeschooling her kids. Watch.
2 and 0. So it's asking you which intervals in which the y is increasing. Select all and apply. Okay, so now we have it. So we have here to here. So the first one, -6, okay? And then we have, then it goes down, 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 up, and up. Okay, so we have -6 and -6 and 0.
At first glance, your mind wants to go with the simplest explanation, that the tree was already hanging by a thread. But according to Rebecca, the tree was still firmly attached to its base. No visible damage, no rot, nothing that looked like it was about to collapse. And then people who slowed the footage down began noticing something else. Something that made the entire situation feel way less natural. Several viewers claimed they saw a figure moving behind the tree just seconds before it began shaking on its own. So was it gravity, a rare coincidence, or something attempting to reveal itself through the only object it could manipulate? You decide. In this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visited Bonanzaville, an open-air museum filled with preserved historic structures from different eras of North Dakota. There's the old haunted tavern where staff have reported glasses clinking on their own, the mansion's said to echo footsteps long after closing, and even a small church where a shadowy figure is often seen slipping between the pews. And of course, Ian decided to walk through all of it completely alone. He started his investigation inside the old train shed, an authentic 1930s passenger coach where visitors have sworn they've seen a phantom conductor pacing the aisle. But for Ian, that night, the train shed was calm. Where things shifted was the next building he stepped into, the telephone museum. Watch.
These phones are dead. They're not even on. I'm not even sure if you'd even be able to make calls with it right now. Could you move this? The rotary dial? Whoa, what the? Dude, that was a freaking straight up phone ringing in that room. Holy crap, that scared me. Did you just make one of the phones ring in that room? That was coming from that room over there. Oh god. Well, I suppose let's go answer.
This museum has a long, unsettling history. Staff say the phones inside often ring on their own, connecting to other historical buildings across the property. But whenever someone picks up, it's only dead air. Others have reported seeing a ghostly woman drift through the aisles, appearing and disappearing between the old switchboards. So Ian, being Ian, decided to answer one of the ringing phones himself. Watch what happened.
Hello? Could you speak through this phone? Who called that phone earlier? Put my voice recorder up to it.
A faint whisper came through his recorder, and Ian couldn't tell whether the voice came through the phone or from somewhere else inside the room. Listen again. Some say the voice sounds like it's trying to speak directly to him. Others think it's the woman people claim to see in the building. But whether it's tied to the museum, the phones, or something else entirely, one thing is clear. Whatever haunts that building knew he was there. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was recorded by Melhia Davis, a woman who is fully convinced that her house is haunted. For months, she's been dealing with things she just can't explain. Faint footsteps in the hallway long after everyone is asleep, doors clicking open in the early hours of the morning, and the feeling of being watched whenever she walks past her kids' rooms. One night, after putting her children to bed, this happened. Watch. First, she heard strange sounds coming from down the hallway. When she went to trace the noise, she saw the white door slowly closing on its own. Not long after, scratching sounds began coming from the walls, and before she could even process that, her TV suddenly turned itself on, without anyone touching the remote. She's burned camphor, she's tried cleansing her space with Palo Santo, and she's done everything people recommended to keep the energy calm. But nothing seems to be changing. Now, for the sake of her children, leaving is starting to feel like the only option left. Yet, many viewers insist that since nothing harmful has happened, the spirit might simply be seeking attention or trying to communicate. But is it really worth waiting until something does happen? What exactly do you think she's dealing with, and is moving out the right call or a rash decision? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. In the following clip, a woman who has been dealing with what she believes is a mimic decided to sage her home, and for a while everything went quiet. No strange voices, no footsteps, no movement in the corners, just silence. Until one night, this happened. Watch this.
So she's back. The last time I made this video, people were saying that it's my double reflection. But I'm just gonna put up my hand here. Yeah, the sage has worn off.
Aside from the mimic-like reflection in the window, viewers pointed out something even more disturbing. Another figure lurking in the darkness. When she realized this, it added an entirely new mystery to her situation. She also mentioned something most people found chilling. Whenever she turns around, nothing is there. She only ever sees the mimic through window reflections, never directly. Some think that means this thing is tied to reflective surfaces, almost like it can only reveal itself when she isn't looking at it head on. Others believe it's intentionally avoiding being seen, which could mean it's growing more aware or more dangerous. But the detail that caused the biggest debate? The fact that she saged the house. Many viewers believe that if she was dealing with a mimic, saging may have been a mistake. Not because sage is bad, but because some entities don't flee from cleansing. They get agitated by it. A few even suggested that sage might have pushed the mimic deeper into hiding, making it harder to track and possibly attracting something else in the process. But I'll leave that part to you. Was saging the house helpful, or did it make things worse? In this next clip, an explorer visits the former home of a woman named Rebecca, a place many locals believe is still haunted by her spirit. Have a look.
No. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. All right.
When you knock on a door and it opens by itself, especially in a house with a history like this, there are a few unsettling possibilities. Some believe that in the paranormal world, a door opening on its own can be a form of invitation, a spirit responding to your presence, acknowledging that it heard you. Others say it's a sign of residual activity, where the house is replaying something Rebecca used to do in life, almost like an echo of her routine. But the interpretation that creeped people out the most is the idea of intelligent interaction, meaning the spirit isn't just present, but aware. If the door opened right after he knocked, some think Rebecca might be answering the door the same way she would have when she was alive, only now she's doing it from the other side. So was this a simple coincidence, a residual replay, or Rebecca herself responding? You decide. Now, in this next video, a woman named Kyla, who has talked before about hearing strange things around her home, like faint footsteps on her porch at night, whispers outside her bedroom window, and soft knocks on her walls with no one there, experienced something even more unsettling. This time, she was outside, and her doorbell camera caught what appears to be a ghostly voice. Listen closely.
Inside, Kaylee, go! Kaylee, go! I'm not worried. He's gonna grab his keys and you're gonna have to leave me.
An unknown entity clearly says, "Hey, hey, hey." When a spirit communicates only through voice but never shows itself physically, many believe it could mean a few things. Some say it's the sign of a disembodied spirit, one that hasn't fully manifested but is still strong enough to interact with sound. Others think it could be a mimic trying to lure attention, using a friendly tone so the person lowers their guard. And in some cases, a voice without a form is said to be the start of a progression, where the activity slowly builds over time, eventually becoming louder, more frequent, and even more personal. If this is the beginning stage, what comes later could be anything from full apparitions to objects moving on their own, depending on the intention of whatever is trying to communicate with her. For now, all we know is, something spoke, and it wasn't human.